Hello fellow Earpers and welcome to this week's Wynonna Earp recap of episode 203 named Gonna Getcha Good. And I have a lot of notes, like always. But first we're going to do bingo points, because I do get bingo points for Wynonna kissing someone who's not Doc or Dolls as the first person whom she kisses this season. So bingo points for me. We go on to the start of this episode, which is the cheerleading scene we've all been awaiting. The music selection is great again, and I have the feeling this series is so good for all of the fanfiction writers because all of the good lines are already there. And respect for Dom for actually pulling this off, because like you've maybe seen in the behind the scenes video, it was really exhausting to dance the whole thing. Moving on to the whole Waverly performance, because that was even more awesome. We see like the subtle changes in Waverly, and it's like very well acted. You see the difference to the Ray of Sunshine in season 1, and now she becomes darker and darker, and it's very well acted by Dominique. Also, Gooverly is very fun to watch. Fun fact, Gooverly in German would mean Schleimerli, which is kind of a fun translation. Then we have her eating the lipstick, and I asked myself, why is she doing that? Is it because lipstick tastes so great? No, it's actually because the casing of the lipstick, the tiny thing, is shiny, and she wants to keep the shiny thing, so she just eats away the lipstick. Also, she's having weird cravings like spider and lipstick. Maybe there's spider flavored lipstick. We'll see about that. Also, one of my OTPs, Waverly and the shotgunner back. She gets like a more modern shotgun this time. But they're back, and I really like the scene where Doc takes the shotgun and hands it to Waverly. So it shows kind of that he's not the guy who with the big ass gun, but Waverly's the girl with the big ass gun because she knows how to use it. Going on to my favorite, Jeremy. He's not much in this episode, there's not much to say, but I love him anyway. I'm not really sure what his role is yet between BBD and Team Earp, but I really hope he's all Team Earp, and he seems like that. He doesn't seem like a character who would be able to really lie. Like Lucado is clearly a professional liar, but Jeremy doesn't seem like it. Moving on to Wynonna, hashtag crazy awesome bitch, this episode. I really like that she has to face like her own high school demons, kind of. And she's really good at payback, so when she beats up all the jocks, it's such an heroic moment for her own character development that I really liked it. She's also attracted to like the bad boy Perry, who might be a murderer. Nobody really knows in the beginning, and it just makes him more attractive to Wynonna, which is hilarious how she's reacting to it like, oh yeah, he might be a psychopath, but that's really attractive. Also, we have the scene on the porch with the scarecrow demon, where she points the gun at the scarecrow demon and doesn't shoot it, and I really don't know why. I don't get why she waits that long and looks back at the guy and back to the scarecrow, back at the guy, then the scarecrow's gone. No shooting. Meh. Was a weird scene. Then in the end, we have Wynonna being able to make the wish with the scarecrow genie, and you see her thinking about it. You really see it working in her face, all the emotions that go through it. She could wish for Willa coming back, she could wish for the curse to end, she could wish for a happy life, but she doesn't, and you really see that play of emotion in her face, so it's very well acted by Melody Scrofano, and I really liked it, because for a moment I thought maybe she's making a wish, but she didn't in the end. Then she kisses Perry, and you see that she doesn't feel it, that she's still somehow connected maybe to Doc and Dolls, and that these are the people important in her life, and that just the thing with Perry is not working. He's just too good of a guy for her, so the bad boy image falls apart, and then there's just plain old Perry, and that's not enough for Wynonna. And then in the end we have the scene with doc where they talk about Rosita, and she's insulting Rosita as like kind of just being eye candy for the Shorty's bar, and then Doc corrects her with saying that Rosita is actually like a most capable chemist, and I really like that Wynonna is able to admit her mistake and saying, okay, maybe I've been superficial and I should stop that. It's also like a very interesting dynamics because the words she uses against Rosita are part of like a sexist power dynamic, and then she admits that this has been a mistake, and this is kind of for me also a way of like feminist solidarity to say, okay, maybe I made a mistake here, and the person I'm talking about is actually very capable of what they're doing. Moving on to Nicole, who stole the whole episode with her performance. Like, Kat Burrell's performance was really good. I mean, I've said it about all of the people because it's just such an awesome cast. But we see a very, very good storyline about her wanting to do more, of her having a career despite of all going on. It's not just saving the day again and again by the Earp Squad, but these characters actually have dreams and ambitions, and we see that with Nicole very well. She's taking also her cop business very serious, and that's why I think it hurts her very much when Natalie just lets Tucker go and she has the feeling nothing is happening. But I leave the whole review of Nicole's storyline to Bridget, whom you find with @Bridget on TV on Twitter, because she wrote a whole article about it and it's pretty long and pretty awesome, so I'm not gonna get very deeply into that. Then we have this one scene with Waverly where Waverly kisses her in front of all the other people while she's in uniform and officially on like Purgatory Sheriff Department business. And there we see interesting different in like the how it's dealt with consent in the show. So we've seen the very consensual scene between Waverly and Nicole beforehand, and now we see like the unconsensual kiss between Waverly and Nicole. And I really like that they show it because it also means that in a relationship, just because you've agreed to it once doesn't mean that it's always okay. And Waverly kind of should have asked, even with body language or anyway, but she doesn't, and that this makes the whole thing unconsensual. So it's kind of a learning lesson in consent within the series, but not with it being so like blatantly obvious that it would be kind of a lecture, but it's more like you learn it through the show. And Natalie, the hidden gem of season 2, like he gets some really good lines, and now with him saying that he needs Nicole to be the good cop for the normal citizens of Purgatory, he's kind of heroic, like with also the Batman quotes and stuff. We see what happens to him, but I also have the feeling that with Nicole being the person who takes over, we might lose Natalie this season. He might die, which I don't hope, but it does make sense. So we see if he survives, but he would be kind of one of the characters whom you could kill off without hurting the main cast that everyone loves. So I'm a bit scared for him. Last point, the baddies this episode. So we've seen, of course, this Scarecrow Genie, which was a very good Monster of the Week, so they managed to have the good Monster of the Week, and then a very good character development, also about the other things. That's what I didn't like about episode 2, that I thought the Monster of the Week was kind of boring, and this one was very, very nice, with the whole, like, organ business and stuff, except for that I have the feeling they took out the wrong organs or from the wrong sides, like, the filming was a bit weird of that, but that's my inner anatomy nerd being like, wait, I think it doesn't work that way. But I had a feeling that in the end, Tucker Gardner was the actual, like, bad guy this episode, so he was so creepy, like, he was super sexist and misogynistic, and he was the kind of guy I would be scared in real life, because I know that in real life, like, scarecrow demons don't exist, like, spiders don't exist, but the creepy guys like Tucker Gardner exist, and they're dangerous and hurtful, and I wouldn't want to go anywhere near them, and I want them to be handled, so him not being properly handled right away, but maybe later, you see it with the file Natalie gives Nicole, is scary. I mean, he gets his fair share of Goovily, which I really liked. It's like Team Goovily against Tucker. But he's more creepy than any monster you could come up with because it's so realistic. But we got cool hashtags because of him, which are patriarchal bullshit land. I'm really going to use that quite often from now on. And the nasty woman reference by Emily Andras was very nice. Because there has been a whole Twitter thing about nasty women and women being called nasty because they stand up for themselves. And I really liked that it got incorporated in the series, so it's like being part of a pop cultural online nowadays feminism discourse, and you don't see that with many shows who can just produce a line that people recognize it, but it's, like I said, not a lecture thing. So that is basically my recap for this week. I said a few times to friends that it looked very Buffy-like this time, with the whole high school thing and so on, but I think people didn't take out their own organs in Buffy, and I was a bit upset with the, like, Hellmouth likeliness in season 2, but, in episode 2, but this episode, like episode 3, was so good. I can live with the, like, Buffiness of the whole thing. That's totally fine with me. It doesn't seem like a copy, but as its own thing with a few references, and why shouldn't there be a homecoming episode? It was a really nice one. I have nothing to complain about, so many one-liners, so you're gonna see me being all agitated about the next episode, which is probably gonna be about the Earp sisters, and Wynonna might find out that Googly is a thing if she hasn't read the hashtags yet. So I'm really excited for that. Also a bit anxious, but really excited. See you next week. Until then, rewatch a lot. We need the numbers for the networks so we get the season 3. Bye.